ask that we all take a few moments to quiet ourselves and invite Him who is already within us to be here with us this evening. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for all your blessings that you have given. We ask by the gift of the Spirit that you empower those who will be speaking with us this evening. We also ask that we be attentive and not be critical and listen. And when we ask the questions, that we may not think that they are any stupid questions, but hoping that we will receive some answers. We ask you, dear Lord, to guide us this evening and to be with us. We ask those things in the name of the resurrected Christ. Amen.
Please be seated. Soufriere Sola. Bien. Pleasant good evening to my colleagues, Honorable Ian Douglas and Honorable Robert Tong. I'm happy to have you here with me this evening. And a wonderful evening to the beautiful people of Soufriere. I am happy as your PAL rep to address you this evening to update you on my accomplishments under the leadership of the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit-led Labor Administration, and to encourage you to devote your support, prayers to your government in the midst of the UWP economic slayers and their slanderous Destroy Dominica campaign. The opposition may lead you to believe that everything is on decline in Dominica. And let me pause to say a special good evening to Mr. Monroe, who is here with us, and our listeners via DBS and who may be watching over the internet. They may lead you to think we are slowly becoming an economically failed state. But explain to me, how does cement run out in a country if nothing is happening? They have tried to criminalize our so important Citizen by Investment program, which is a key pillar of our national and even regional development. But do not be misled by their brainless, footless, headless campaign called Skerrit Must Go. I know most of you have heard it. It is the worst campaign strategy ever. And I'll tell you why. Let's examine the Skerrit Must Go slogan. And I want you to tell me yes or no. Must Skerrit go because of the $1 million spent in housing in Soufriere constituency and the rest of Dominica? Must he go because of the thousands employed under the National Employment Program? Must he go because of the pension to our senior citizens over 70? Must he go because of free health care for children under 18 and seniors over 60? Must he go because 10 million was placed at the aid bank for agriculture and 15 million for tourism? Must it go because of our sea defense wall in Soufriere? Or all the infrastructure that is taking place around Dominica? So must it go because of the village roads? The village roads that have been rehabilitated in our constituency? Must it go because of free transportation for our school children? Must it go then because of education assistance from children from primary school up to university? Or must it go because of the government goal to provide pipe-borne water to 100% of Dominicans? So why should it go? Is it because of the eradication of pit latrines? Or is it because of the state-of-the-art hospital? Or is it because of the $500,000 grant that we are receiving for small business in our constituency? So labor rights, why must scare it go? So must it go because of the Yes We Care program? So you see, your answer is no. So why then is the opposition saying scare it must go? I have, over the noise I've heard them making, I've come up with two things. One, the DLP is making too much money under the CBI program. And they want their share. And two, because Lennox Linton and an American they have always on queue that doesn't pay taxes in Dominica says scare it must go. So these are the only two reasons. What is the third reason? You see that? So he wants a share of the CBI money to cover his bills. So that's the third reason. But let me ask you, did Lennox Linton or the United Workers' Party elect Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit? Who elected him into office? So if they did not employ the Prime Minister, how can they fire him? How can they ask him to resign? Have you ever heard somebody that did not employ you asking you to resign? So that is why I have said this is the most footless, headless, brainless, senseless campaign. Because the only people that can decide when Skerrit will go, if he wants to go, is God and the labor rights who voted him in power. And we have said Skerrit must. And let me give you a little update. The same person they had on queue publishing fake news of our Prime Minister. I just read an article on Dominica Vibes where I heard he's being sued. The same American they have on queue as their featured speaker. He's being sued by another company for fake news, for printing 40 articles of fake news. And that was their featured speaker for weeks. So you see, it's just a destroy Dominica campaign. Some of you may have heard what happened in St. Kitts, where they had a booming CBI program, where 2,000 people applied to be citizens of St. Kitts. This year, do you know how many people they reported applied? 150. So what's going to happen to St. Kitts? All the programs they had funded under the CBI becomes at risk. So is that what they want to happen in Dominica? Are we going to allow that to happen? So despite of the efforts of the opposition to destroy our economy, like they did between 1995 to 1999, your government continues to work to transform the Soufriere constituency today and for years to come. So let's get to some house matters. Over the last 11 months, we have received over 2 million in housing assistance, which has improved living conditions for over 150 families in Soufriere only. We still have some homes to repair in Soufriere, as housing continues to be the top priority in our constituency. But I encourage you to remain patient and don't get vexed with your pal rep or your government or your neighbor if you have not received your assistance. I want to encourage you to be patient, as those who have not received help shall receive it. I know that some of us, our motto is sometimes, "What have you done for me lately?" But we must never forget as a people where we were under freedom and to the prosperity we are enjoying under the Dominican Labour Party. So we must thank God for our visionary Prime Minister and the government policies and programs that have touched every home in Dominica, even those that are blue vex. This government has made it possible for ordinary people to purchase lots and build their homes. Because of the policies of this government, interest rates on mortgage, which were at 11% at the time when the Labour Party got into power, were cut down to 5% and below. I know that we still have people who live with their parents and require their own space for themselves and their children. I am already investigating how we can address the problem to present a proposal to the Prime Minister. Now, I just want to emphasize to all recipients of housing assistance, use the materials to repair your homes. Eradication of pit latrines. We hope to commence eradicating pit latrines in Soufriere soon. The Prime Minister approved for us to commence with 60 pit latrines for the Soufriere constituency. So I expect to commence that program very soon. Checks to ensure that the list is complete and that everyone who needs a pit latrine is on that list. But I want to thank Mr. Heskiv Michel and Francis Birmingham for helping me in that effort to ensure that we cover everyone that needs a pit latrine. That need a washroom. Yes, because we're eradicating pit latrines. So my people, whilst in Dominica we are eradicating pit latrines, I heard on the news that Jamaica is now eradicating pit latrines in their schools. So they haven't started reaching at people's homes, but in Dominica we are advanced. The goal is by 2017 that we shall have no pit latrines in our country. Put your hands together for your hard-working government. Labour car. So no more wafet and no more hiding to throw pieces by the bay. All shall have the basic comforts of human life under labor. On the roads, let me again state for the record of the government goal to make dirt roads a thing of the past in the Soufriere constituency. Last year we completed a road in Sauce, we did one in Rosehill and Back Street in Soufriere. I am pleased to announce this evening that the Minister of Finance has allocated 330,000 for Soufriere to continue Shento Bay Road going towards Jacqueline Xavier, Mid Housing Scheme Road by Emmeline Angol, road alongside Francisca Xavier, and Upper Housing Scheme Road to Macklin Abraham. So yes, Cynthia Place as well. So these 4 roads have been approved, and in speaking to the Minister of Public Works, within 2 weeks the funds should be at our village council for us to start those projects. So Labour car, small business assistance. We have received substantial assistance under the Small Business Development Plan. Over the last 11 months, $220,000 was received by our constituency for small business. Out of those funds, 15 families of Soufriere benefited. I recently announced that the Prime Minister has allocated a further $500,000 for small business in the Soufriere constituency. I am happy to tell you that many people have been filling out their applications and bringing it to the office. The only thing I want to encourage us, because I've gone through some of the applications and I see that some people are applying to start shops and bars. Now, some of the areas they want to do that already have 4 or 3 bars or shops. So I want us to be a little creative, to think outside the box. As I said, we don't have a bakery in Soufriere. We should have one. Little ice cream shop, arts and crafts shop. Let us start thinking of businesses we can create to serve the customers that are going to be coming, the tourists that will be visiting Soufriere. So I want us to be a little more diverse in our thinking and not just doing the regular shops and bars. Okay? I also intend to submit a proposal to build defender stalls on the boulevard in Soufriere, because it's time we make maximum use of that boulevard. It's just there, and same like in Point Michel, how we have Hollywood and the vendor stalls, we want to do the same thing in Soufriere. So you'll see that project coming on stream soon. As soon as next week, I will announce dates for small business training. The people from the small business ministry will be coming to our constituency. We'll be having one meeting in Point Michel and one in Soufriere for all those who applied under the small business grant and all those who are interested in starting a small business. So they'll educate you on how to go about running your business effectively. And all those funds have been announcing and the monies is because of our CBI program. We must remember that. This is where the funds are coming from for the Citizenship by Investment program. And that is why as a people, we have to defend this program, because it is bringing revenue to fund all the projects that I've announced so far, and many of the programs like the NEP, Yes We Care programs that are ongoing in our constituency. Under tourism, we have 2 CBI funded resorts development, and we have Petit Colibri Resort right here in Soufriere. So Soufriere is not only the heart of labor in the constituency, but well positioned to benefit greatly in terms of jobs, complementary services, and activities to hotel and visitors. Mr. Sam Raphael, he had no incidents in the Elysis area. He had 0. So we have to do the same thing in Soufriere. We have to protect the investment that people like Sam Raphael and Jonathan are making in the Soufriere constituency, okay? So I'll be depending on you for that. One of the groups to benefit significantly from hotel developments is the fisher folks and farmers groups. I have met on a few occasions with the farmer group in Soufriere, who intend to revive organic farming. They have already identified a portion of land for that purpose. We also have a plan to build lockers for the fishermen and a restroom facility on the boulevard, which can serve Jones, Whippy's, Dale customers, and others. Discussions are also being held to reintroduce yachters to our marine reserves. The Minister of Tourism will speak more on that. Finally, I am pleased to announce that the funds for the engines for the boats, the 6 boats we have built, have been approved. So I expect that probably next week we'll purchase those engines, and so the young fishermen who are waiting to benefit from that program will have their boats soon. I want to specifically thank the NEP workers who take their work seriously, because you are the reason that driving to Soufriere has become a pleasant sight. It is so clean. I am happy for the pride you have taken in your jobs, and encourage you to keep our environment clean, because it helps keep a lasting impression on the minds of all who visit in Soufriere. And as we speak about the environment, I am also planning, in conjunction with the village council, to clean up the Alum stream. So we have a major cleanup project plan to clean it out. It's not a permanent solution, but in the meantime, it can make it more presentable. In our constituency, we have approximately 200 people under the National Employment Program. I want to applaud those who continue to perform well at various institutions and have secured permanent jobs because of the training they have received under that program. We must never take these opportunities for granted. So I want to encourage you, those who are here under the NEP, to do your best at your jobs at all times. It is because of your performance on the job that will determine if your contracts shall be renewed. Your Labour government works hard to raise funds under the CBI to ensure you earn an income to take care of yourself and family. Keep making us proud. We are blessed with many outstanding athletes in cricket, football, volleyball, and other sporting disciplines in Soufriere. As a result of this, I have successfully advocated on behalf of you to construct a multi-purpose court at Brooklyn. The funds for that project is already at the Point Michel Village Council. Right now, we are just doing the topical survey because I understand that there is some drainage issue with the land by the school. We want to build a court, so we're dealing with that. So I want to thank right now the Ministry of Public Works and the Minister for assisting in the design of the court and to helping me allocate the court in an area and manage so the drainage problem can be resolved. When we build the court, you won't have any issues. So your court is coming. The young men who have been waiting for the court, it is coming soon. And I also know, yes, you're looking forward to the lighting of the playing field. So once we build the court, the lighting of the playing field shall follow. Now we have over 50 students attending the Dominica State College and BTC. I am happy to report that our students are performing well at school. And I want us as a community to continue to motivate our young people. One of the things the young people tell me, we have a youth group in Soufriere, Youth in Action. And they're really trying to do little projects in the community. But one of their concerns is the feedback sometimes they receive from us adults. So I want us to change our attitude towards young people. They may not always do the right things, but if we speak to them in a productive manner, in a positive manner, we'll help them to get on the right path. So I need your help in that regard, to embrace them and to make them feel that you're fully supporting them. So can I count on you?
Oh yes! Oh yes!
I also want to encourage all our students from primary school to universities to study, obey your parents, and stay focused. It is easy to get distracted by theft and social media. But don't waste the opportunities that you have under the Dominica Labour Party administration. These opportunities were not always there. It is because of the heart of our Prime Minister and this government that our young people have so many opportunities now to study. And their tuition is paid if they want to go to the state college. We have so many students at universities in the states, at Grambling, Midwestern, and many other institutions. We have students studying in China because of the foreign policy of our government. Mexico just gave 5 million to our state-of-the-art hospital and scholarships for our young people to study. We have to be proud of those things. And so when scholarships are being advertised and the Minister of Education calls me, Honorable Peter Seja, who just joined us, we welcome him. I want to see more students from our area apply. Because recently he called me about China and only one person from the Soufriere constituency applied, and that person did not even qualify because they have not completed the state college. So please pay attention to the announcements by the Ministry of Education so you can apply and take advantage of the opportunities that are available under this government. Other plans in the pipeline, I've been having discussions, and once we relocate the court to Brooklyn, we will look at the current site where the court is to construct a community center for Soufriere. Lebaka. So my people, I have reached the end of my report. Does that report card represent a government that needs to resign? So when you see men wearing white, one day they are wearing blue, one day is purple, one day is Team Dominica, one day is the saw, but I haven't seen this saw for a long time. I don't know if oh, okay, because I haven't seen the saw. Let them know that Skerrit must go on to accomplish his God-given plans for the Soufriere constituency and Dominica. So on May 1st at 1 p.m. and May 7th at noon, I want everybody to be red on the bus stop, waiting on the bus to take you to the West Bridge opening on May 1st. And to Portsmouth by Honorable Douglas. Let us come out to show them that we run things in Dominica. And we ain't going nowhere. So may the Lord continue to bless you, your families, and remain firm with your government and continue to pray for us. We appreciate all the prayers and the support. Labour, we shall not be moved. Thank you very much. I now invite the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Robert Tong, to address you.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in the beautiful area of Soufriere, and also Scott said, actually, was it Sunday or Monday? I think Sunday I was actually here with my wife. My wife is now one of the doctors at the Roseau Health Center, and she was called to see someone in Soufriere. So I took the opportunity to drive her up and just move around and see the beautiful area of Scott said and Soufriere. So, Honorable Ian Douglas, Honorable Dennis, Honorable Peter Seja, Senator Jaize Benoit, to all the persons who are here in the crowd, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here in large numbers to hear what we have to talk about. As Honorable Dennis said, I am the Minister for Tourism, and I just want to give you an update on tourism. So in terms of tourism, what we talk about, we have what we call 4 pillars of tourism. And it's just to give you a better understanding. The first one is awareness. The second one is marketing. The third one is access. And the fourth one is the experience. When we talk about awareness, we're talking about, think of a business. In order for someone to come to your business, to do business with you, they must be aware that your company exists. So the same thing applies to Dominica, and many times people sometimes mistake us with the Dominican Republic. So one of our roles is to ensure that people know who Dominica is, where Dominica is, how to get to Dominica. And obviously that's a very challenging task, but the Ministry of Tourism and the Discover Dominica Authority, that is our role to ensure that we do our best to make sure persons are aware of Dominica and that Dominica exists. And Dominica is the nature island of the Caribbean, if not the world, where you can come and meet some of the friendliest people, where you can get some of the best foods, where you can see dolphins, you can see whales, you can hike, you can get hot water. You can get hot water in the springs, and you can even get hot water right by the sea, which helps to rejuvenate us and help us to live much longer lives. So we do our best to make persons aware of Dominica, and we do that by bringing in international press to Dominica for the persons to experience what Dominica has to offer. And then they go back to America, they go back to Europe, and they write stories on Dominica. And that is why recently, those of us who normally use social media, you will see a lot more stories about Dominica and what Dominica has to offer in terms of our food, our nature, and so on and so forth. We also have one or two hotels in Dominica that are doing a very good experience. One of them is Secret Bay. They've been receiving many awards, which again helps to improve on the awareness of Dominica. Again, making persons aware. And if they're aware of Dominica, then hopefully they'll want to come to Dominica. We also do, as I mentioned, the press trips and also what we call FAM trips. FAM trips are familiarization trips, so we'll get all the different large tour operators to come down to Dominica again to experience what Dominica has to offer, so that when someone goes to their tour operator office, wherever in the world, and they ask, where should I go to because I like nature, they can say, hey, I have been to Dominica. Dominica is a lovely place, and you should try coming to Dominica. So as I said, our first job is to really make persons aware of our beautiful country. But the second one, even if you've just told them where Dominica is, you also have to give them a message to want to come to Dominica. So you have a restaurant across the road, you put out a nice advert, but you must tell the person, hey, come to that restaurant to enjoy our beautiful food. So we also have the role to bring persons to and encourage them to want to come to Dominica by saying what Dominica has to offer. And obviously, in order for you to do that, in order for you to market and to market properly, you must have funds to be able to do that. So over the years, we used to use $4 million to market our country, but we realized that we must do a much better job at it, and we've also gotten the government has increased the marketing budget from $4 million in 2014 right now to $8.5 million, which gives us a significant amount of funds to make sure that we can market Dominica much better, to get more people to come to Dominica. And why do we really want persons to come to Dominica? It's not only just to experience what Dominica has to offer, but obviously it's for them to experience what Dominica has to offer and also spend money in Dominica. Because when persons spend money, it allows us to create jobs for us to feed our families and to feed ourselves and to take care of ourselves, and also create economic activity throughout the country. So many times people say, well, I don't really care about tourism, but tourism really is everybody's business because it brings significant amounts of money to Dominica. It brings significant amounts of foreign exchange, and you can be directly impacted or indirectly impacted, because when someone comes to a hotel and they stay at the hotel, they must eat. So they have to buy food from the farmer, they have to buy food from the hotels, they have to buy fish from the fishermen, they have to go on tours, they have to go on a bus. They have to buy a cell phone. They may come with their cell phone, but even someone who works at Flow or Digicel is still going to be impacted because the visitor who comes here has to make phone calls. So again, everybody benefits as a result of that. They have to use the roads. The roads must be fixed. So everybody benefits from tourism, either directly or indirectly in some way, shape or form. So it is really all of our business, and we have to ensure that when persons come to Dominica, they have a fantastic experience. So even you and I who just not involved in any way, when we see someone on the road and they want directions, we have to give them that big smile and say, hey, welcome to Dominica. If you want to go to Dominica, you take a right, then you take a right, and then take a right. So our role is to make sure they have a fantastic time in Dominica. So we also use what we call reps in all of the various countries, because we want persons from Canada to come to Dominica. We want persons from the USA to come to Dominica. We want persons from Europe to come to Dominica. We want persons from England to come to Dominica. We even want persons from the French West Indies to come to Dominica. So we have what we call market reps in all of these different areas who will assist us in terms of getting persons to want to come to Dominica by having the right types of adverts to encourage persons to come to Dominica. And as you know, we are very close to Guadeloupe and Martinique, and you especially are very even closer to those from Martinique. That is just a hop and a skip away. Those of us who can maybe swim very strongly, maybe one or two of us might be able to swim across, or those of us who use our what do you call it, the pre-pui, can go across. So it's so easy. So it's so easy to touch the persons in Guadeloupe and Martinique. But again, when these individuals come to Dominica, we have to give them great service, because they expect, when you spend a lot of money to go anywhere, you expect to get the best possible service. So when you go into the hotel, the receptionist has to treat you right and deal with you right. When you go into the hotel room, the person who's made the bed and cleans the room, you want to ensure that it is at a very good level. When you go to the bar or to the restaurant, you don't want the bartender or the waitress sitting in the head and not looking at you. You want them to give you the best possible service. You have the chefs who are employed, who are going to get and buy the food and prepare the food. Obviously, we claim that we have some of the best tasting food in the Caribbean. So at the same time too, when you come on Monday to eat, you want to say, wow, that was an amazing meal. But because the chef is vexed on Tuesday, you don't want the quality of that food to go down. So the quality has to be there every single day, over and over and over again. So we do our best to continue marketing the country. But you know, in order for after we've made persons aware of Dominica, after we've told them to come to Dominica, then the next stage is the access, which I call the third pillar. How do we get persons to Dominica? And we have many challenges. Persons can either come here from by air, or persons can come by sea. By the air, we have the different airlines, and we have what we call an air access committee in the Ministry of Tourism for Discover Dominica, and their role is to ensure that we work as hard and smart as possible with all of the airlines to come to Dominica so we can have the best possible service. We know that sometimes LIAT can be very challenging in terms of their timeliness, but they are working on that. We are also working with them on that. But it still becomes a challenge to come to Dominica, and recently they've cut back one or two of their flights again for them to be as efficient as possible. And if you'd realize, over Carnival, which we had a great Carnival in Dominica this year, normally you'd hear so many negative complaints about LIAT in terms of baggage being lost, but they did a much better job this year as a result of that. But again, we will continue working with LIAT and all the other possible airlines to ensure that we have better access to come to Dominica, so that it doesn't take you 2 days to come to Dominica, and at the same time to try and even reduce the cost to come to Dominica. So the Air Access Committee is responsible for speaking with the various airlines, and we continue to work with them, and we're hoping that there'll be a new one coming on stream sometime in October, coming from Barbados and St. Lucia, providing additional service from those areas. You also have persons who come to Dominica by sea, and a person can come to Dominica by sea by the ferry. Again, we continue to work with the ferry to see if they can provide additional service to Dominica, because sometimes they come on a Monday, they come on a Wednesday, but sometimes you want to leave on a Tuesday. So we have to continue negotiating with them to see how they can provide us with more service. Persons also come to Dominica via the cruise ship, and a significant amount of people come by the cruise ship. This year, you look at over 280,000 persons would have come. The season has just ended, and we're hoping that come October next year, the season will start again. And there's a lot that we had to do to ensure that we get the cruise ships to continue coming to Dominica. Obviously, the cruise ships are very, what I say, meticulous. When a cruise ship passenger goes on shore, when they come back, they do a sample, and they ask them to fill out a questionnaire. Was the city clean? Was the bus clean? Was the bus driver driving okay? Were the people friendly? Was the site at a good condition? They check every single thing. And every 2 years, they actually rank all the islands that they go to. So obviously, if your ranking is low, they will want to go to countries that have a better ranking. Do you agree? Right. So we have to do all in our power to ensure that our ranking and the scores that we get continue to increase. Our scores over the years have been relatively low, but the important thing is that we are aware of the areas and we have put things in place to increase on our scores. One of them was, take for example, security. So one of the things that we've done during the cruise season, we actually hired, the Ministry of Tourism hired a security team to go around town. You even saw some of them on bicycles, just to make sure that persons were more safe in the city, so that it will reduce the instances of accidents. And you know, nowadays with the advent of the internet and social media, how quickly stories can spread. And we have one example recently, a couple of days ago, where a guy in a particular area, I won't mention, slapped a guy with a cutlass. Can you guess how many people saw that video? How many? As of today, as of this afternoon, 1.3 million people have seen that. All right? So it's very easy. So negative news spreads very, very easy. That is why we have to ensure that we put our best foot forward and give the best possible service and the best possible experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, we continue to work on improving our scores, and I can say to you, we recently had a FCCA conference recently, and the cruise lines have confirmed to us that our scores are going up, but we have to continue ensuring that the scores get higher and higher. One of the areas we get very good scores, so there are about 35 countries. When we do our tours, what we call our organized tours, where you have a tour guide on board, we actually rank number 8. So one of the things that we're trying to do is to ensure that all tours have tour guides on board, because if we can increase on our scores, it means that cruise ships are going to see us as a better country to come to. If we can reduce our instances of robberies and stuff like that, we can also improve on our scores. If when the people come off the ship, they don't see persons making noise and fighting to get the business, they will see that we are friendly. And actually our score for friendliness was actually low, just because of that same thing. Because sometimes a tour or bus operator is talking to an individual and he's trying to sell them a tour at a particular rate, whereas you have somebody at the back of him trying to sell it for half the price, and obviously they're going to get into a confrontation, and the visitors see it as a very negative. But not everybody does that. Only a few people are doing that. But as I said, the negative story is the one that spreads the quickest. When you do good things, you hardly hear about it. It's only when you do negative stuff, you hear about it all over. So we have to continue working on that, and the Ministry of Tourism is speaking to the stakeholders on a regular basis to do that. And I can tell you the results are coming, because we have just reviewed our cruise ship listing for the period 2017, which is October 2018. We've reconfirmed with all of the ships to make sure that they are coming. And I can say to you, you're going to have an increase of over 50,000 people coming to Dominica as compared to the previous years. But, however, that is still going to put a lot of pressure on all of us. It means there are going to be more people. You're going to have more persons trying to get the business. It means you're going to have more people going to sites at the same time. So we have to try to reduce overcrowding, again, to make sure persons have the best possible experience in Dominica. And we, as I said, the scores are increasing, which means we are making the positive changes. We just have to continue making those changes. Persons also come to Dominica also on yachts, and in Portsmouth we've done a very good job in terms of increasing the number of yachts coming to Portsmouth. One, by having what we call PAYS. PAYS is the Portsmouth Association of Yacht Security and Services. It's the young guys who before would take a small engine boat, go out and chase the yachts and try to force them to come in. Now that has changed. The people are coming in because these guys are providing excellent service to these individuals, and whilst the vessels are in the harbor, they're providing security so that the persons can leave their vessels, go on shore, and not have to worry. Just last week, the guy sent me pictures whereby somebody had a yacht, the rope burst, and the guys actually went out, secured the yacht, and brought it back. Again, because they provided that level of excellent service. We have something called the Yachty Appreciation Week. It's at the 3 years ago. The first year we had about 25 yachts. The second year we had about 40 yachts. This year we had over 100 and something yachts in the harbor at one time. And you can well imagine how much money, because the yachties spend, the yachties are persons who stay on yachts. They end up spending a lot more money than actually the cruise ships. So if we could get all of Dominica to be yachts, we'd be even better off. Exactly. So again, we have to ensure that we put more moorings in the areas, we have proper security, and that is exactly the same thing that we plan to do in the area of Scott's Head. Because as you can see, most time the yachts come and they pass by and they go to Newtown, which has some moorings, or they go to Portsmouth, which has moorings. So the intention is to start up a pilot program, and I think the SSMR is I think they have some funding, but we want to work with them as best as possible to ensure that it's done as quickly as possible, and to also provide the same form of security to the person, so that instead of the yachty having to go from here straight to Rosa, they will stop here first. When they stop here, they're going to want fresh water, they want to get fruits, they want to get vegetables, they want to get meat, they want to get gas, they want to get all sorts of stuff. So again, it'll allow ports, Soufriere and Scott's Head to begin to benefit from that. And I think many years ago you actually had some of that, but based on certain changes, there was a lot of protection, but everybody's realizing that you have to provide some support. So the same way the dive boats come here, they make their money and they go, we want to make the money stay in the area of Soufriere and Scott's Head. So I'm really hoping that this year, before the new season starts, we can put down at least 10 to 15 of the moorings. We have the money in our budget, and we're just hoping that we can work with the SSMR to implement that as quickly as possible, so persons in the area can benefit from yachting in this area. Because the persons on the yachts, they're going to come on shore, they're going to go on hikes and stuff like that. You have Bubbles Beach right there. Where else in the world can you experience that type of stuff? So it means that if we can do that, it means persons will be spending money in this area for you to take care of your family and to improve on your lives. So as I said, the government is doing their best when it comes to awareness, marketing, access. The other important part is the experience, and I guess I've been touching on that as we move along. The experience just basically means when an individual comes to Dominica, they have to feel special, they have to get great service, and obviously you and I have gone to restaurants, right? And we know that we're supposed to tip. But if the waitress or the bartender or whoever doesn't give us good service, I know I don't tip. But when that person comes to me and they're friendly and they give you great service, they smile, they give you a story, it's much easier for you to give them a tip. So we have to give persons the best possible experience when they come to our beautiful country. And we have lots of training programs that we've been doing to help persons train. We've trained over 200 persons last year, again, just to make sure the vendors, the hair braiders, the taxi drivers, just to make sure that they are properly trained and they can provide the best level of service. So when somebody goes away, instead of giving a negative story, they give a positive story of what they experience in Dominica. And I mean, Soufriere and Scott's Head has a lot to offer. As I said to many people, when someone comes to Soufriere and Scott's Head, they should really spend the entire day here. There's no way you should let somebody come here and leave immediately. You have Bubbles Beach, you have the area where Honorable Dennis talked about to do your fish and stuff like that. You have Soufriere and Scott's Head, you have the Carabantic where you can go up on the hill. There's the beach at the bottom. There's the Waitikobili National Trail. There's the Sulphur Springs at the top. So as you can see, there's a lot that someone can do. So when they come here in the morning, they should really have an experience of the entire area and not leave it. When they leave here at the end of the day, they're going to go into the interior for next day. And as we say many times, Dominica has so much to offer that someone actually needs more than 7 days to spend in Dominica to experience what we truly have to offer. So again, we have to continue doing our best, and we'll continue training persons, even down to tour guides. As I said, we want to train more tour guides so that more persons can be on the buses to ensure that people have a great experience. And this season, we will be starting a new training program again to increase the number of people, because remember, as I said, we're going to have a significant increase in the cruise visitors. So we want to have tour guides on every bus. So please listen out, listen to your power rep who will be giving you some information at some point later in the year. That training will be available for persons to come and get the experience so they can give up the best possible service in Dominica. one of the other things that we have to do in terms of the experience that our sites, we have to ensure that our sites are in good condition, so that a lot of work is being done to support the various sites. Again, we are working with the SSMR with regards to the Champagne area to rebuild the boardwalk. We're waiting on them, and we're hoping that as soon as they're ready, we will assist them with funding to rebuild that boardwalk so persons can have a much better experience in the area. And again, it's one of the most talked about places in Dominica, Champagne, where many people want to experience bathing in that glass of champagne. So maybe we may have to make a slightly wider walkway, because you don't want 500 people going there in one day, everybody bouncing themselves together and having a poor experience. And again, that is why we have to make sure people are aware of all of the different areas that we have to go. So if they know that Champagne is full, they can go somewhere else and maybe at some point come back to Champagne. So again, we have to make sure that our standards are at a particular level. So a lot of times you see certain areas, you see it rustic, but sometimes we need to tweak it a little bit to make it a little bit more friendly. And that is why the small business grants is a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity for someone to improve on their existing business or to start a new business. Because if all of these persons are going to be coming here, there's so much more you can do. I mean, why shouldn't someone be able to come to Dominica and go to a bar and get just teas, herbal teas? Persons are very health conscious. You know, so there's lots of opportunities. We're full of water. There's no water sports in Soufriere and Scottshead per se, besides the diving. What about the paddle boats? What about surfing? What about windsurfing? What about sailing? There are lots of opportunities. So you have to do your research, see what many of the other islands are offering, and use a small business as an opportunity. Because as they say, opportunity favors the prepared. And there's a book I read called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it basically tells you how to be financially intelligent. And not all of us are going to be business people, but those of us who are going to be employees, we have to do our best. And we also have the National Employment Program, which allows persons to get training, to be better equipped for the job market. Many persons will go for jobs. So the first question I'm going to ask you, or someone's going to ask you, do you have experience? So the National Employment Program is also a good way for persons to gain experience. So when they go for that bigger job, it'll be easier for them to get that job because they have the experience. So we talked about doing work on the hot springs. We've been doing work on the Trafalgar Falls, to upgrade the Trafalgar Falls. We've been doing work this year on Emerald Pool, Tito Gorge, Monbruce, Syndicate. We've also done over 13,000 brochures for all around the island in terms of community tourism. So when persons come to Dominica, they have an idea as to where they can go to and enjoy Dominica. Cold Soufriere, so you have your hot Soufriere here, but there's also cold Soufriere in, what's the area? In the heights of Portsmouth, where you have a cold Soufriere. So we did a lot of work there, and the unfortunate thing that Mother Nature is something that you cannot control. So we had a nice path built just before the season opened, and the rain came and washed it away. So we had to actually rebuild the entire trail again. So a lot of work is being done in terms of community support, in terms of Miro, in terms of Layu, helping them, Middleham Farms, Syndicate. And I was just watching a video the other day, and they were showing Bubbles Spa, where you had some big waves recently. And in a matter of one day, it was covered, and the guys had to do a lot of work to get it redone. So that is something we definitely have to look at to see how we can assist in allowing that area to be a little bit more protected, still looking rustic, but at least to prevent the sand from coming in and blocking. Because a lot of people come to Dominica, especially the French people, come to Dominica and sit down in it just to relax and enjoy what we have to offer. We all know that we have a couple hotels in your area that are in the process of being built and upgraded. You have Jungle Bay, which is up on the hill, again funded by the Citizen by Investment Program, which allows, again, Dominica to have more economic development, which will in turn ensure that the more persons are employed. It's all about employment. So at Jungle Bay, you're looking at over more than 100 persons who will be employed. I think right now there must be over 30-something persons who are employed when I went there a couple of weeks ago. And I was happy to see that most of the guys were from your area. You know, some of the guys I knew personally, and I was happy to see that. You have Boaquat that hopefully should be starting soon. They have something already, and they are also one of the areas that have a fantastic tour. So I guess between the minister, over the senator and myself, we have some work to do in terms of getting the road organized, because that is one of the complaints persons have, that the road is very bumpy. We also have the other hotel, Petit Colibri. We really hope that soon, one day, it'll be open. The last time I went there, it looked like it was pretty much ready, but I guess everybody's different and persons want maybe strive for perfection. But we're hoping that soon it'll be open, and then more persons from your area will be employed. And also, you have to provide that area with significant amounts of produce and fish and pork and chicken. So all of that, again, allows us to create economic activity for ourselves. And that's why, again, the small business grant will allow you to also capitalize on some of those opportunities. They always say that opportunity favors the prepared. Many times people say, oh, that person is lucky. I don't necessarily believe in luck. Because if I was smart with my money, and I was saving my money, and I had saved $10,000. If someone comes to me today with a deal of $5,000, it means I can capitalize on that deal. It wasn't because I was lucky. It was because I was prudent with my savings. I could capitalize on it. So likewise, all of us have to be prudent with our savings. All of us have to be prudent with the things that we do, and say, so that when the opportunity comes before us, we can capitalize on it. If we know that the hotels are going to be built, we know they're going to need certain employees. We have to begin to start doing some training. There are even online courses you can do to ensure that you're ready to fill those particular jobs, so you can take care of your family. So the government continues to use the Citizen by Investment program to attract and to build these types of hotels to ensure that economic activity is created. Many persons have said, what are we doing for the existing local hotels? We have also put in place $15 million to allow the local hotels to upgrade their facilities so that they can compete, and to also provide better facilities and services for persons who are going to come to Dominica. So we're not leaving out the local hotels, and it's local hotels and restaurants. So if you have a restaurant that can house 15 people, I think it's 16 people and more, you can also access those funds, and those funds are at 3% per annum. You have a whole year grace period, so you can take 3 months to rebuild and to upgrade your property. You have 9 months again to start making money before you start paying back that loan. So it's really a perfect opportunity, but we have to be willing to take risks to take it to the next level. If we just sit back, things are going to pass us by. We have to be willing to take the risk to move yourselves, our family, and the country of Dominica to the next level. So a lot is being done in tourism, and as the months and days go by, you will hear a lot more, and we look forward to your support. We cannot do it by ourselves. All of us have to do it together, because if we put all of these fancy things in place and the service is not great, or we don't have the services, then persons are not going to come here. And as you know, the Prime Minister has spoken about that Dominica needs to build an international airport. And many persons say that, it's just a dream, it's just a pie in the sky. But let us think about it for a second. The stadium in Roseau, it was said that would never happen, right? It was said the State House would never happen. It was just a dream. It happened. The State College, where before only 7% of individuals could go to the State College, now over 95%, over 95% of persons have the ability to go to a state college. And that costs a lot of money. And again, persons said it could not be done. The hospital, the new hospital, maybe you have not seen pictures, but maybe the next time we must come with a PowerPoint presentation so you can actually see. So those of us who are not on social media, the first 2 buildings will be ready in August this year. This year. The building is about 3 floors high already. So many times persons have said a lot of things are not possible. But again, with a good plan, with a great team, and very importantly, by using the resources from the Citizen by Investment program, it allows us to capitalize and plan and make many of these promises that the Prime Minister and the ministers have made a reality. So I can say to you that the same way persons have doubted all of these things that I mentioned, the international airport, I'm sure, will be built very soon. So again, thank you very much, and I'm open to any questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tong. I hope all the questions are for him tonight. Okay? I now invite Honorable Ian Douglas to address you. Round of applause for Ian.
Thank you very much, Honorable Pal Rep Dennis Charles, Honorable Robbie Tong, Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal, Honorable Peter Seja, Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Senator Jayasa Binwa, people of Soufriere, good evening. That was a little cold. People of Soufriere, good evening. Yes, yes, yes. That song's more like the Soufriere, I know. Yes. I remember when I came here just about, what was it, a year ago? When we had a very lovely campaign here in the Soufriere constituency, and I want to congratulate you all very, very, very much. I want to thank each and every one of you for the overwhelming support that you gave to Dennis and the Dominican Labour Party. And I want to give you the assurance tonight that as long as Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit continues to be Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica with the team that he has, we will ensure that this constituency grows from strength to strength. I want to give you that assurance tonight. I want to give you that assurance tonight because you see, a lot of times people forget history. People forget their history. And as a people, we must never forget our history. Because you see, when you forget your history, you are condemning yourself to make the same mistakes you made in the past. So that is why we mustn't forget our history. And when we have the opposition coming to us today, telling us that Skerrit must go, I want to ask them, go where, ladies and gentlemen? Where must Skerrit go? But they have never changed. A leopard never changes its paws. And the same old tactics, the same old politicking that United Workers' Party did when they were formed about 30 years ago, it is the same politicking that they are doing today. But what they thought they were successful at then, times have changed and they cannot be successful with the same old politics today. Because when they were formed in 1988, United Workers' Party was formed. Remember that, Shoshe, sir? In 1988, they were formed because they were dissatisfied. They were a group of greedy businessmen who could not get higher salaries from the Eugenia Charles government, who could not get all the contracts from the government at the time, and they turned against the government of the day and they formed their own party to get into office. That is how these guys were formed. And when you hear them criticizing the citizenship by investment program today, brothers and sisters, that is not a program that Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit started, you know. It's not the Prime Minister that started the citizenship by investment program. In the mid-1980s, around 1988 towards 1990, the big companies that were producing bananas in Central America started putting pressure on England to take away our preferential treatment to enter the United Kingdom, England, for our bananas. So because we were former colonies, because they had exploited us for years, because they had us in slavery for years and we were small, we could send all our bananas to England. You remember when the geese boat used to come here and we had women carrying boxes of bananas on their head, right? Okay, fine. Dole, Del Monte and Chiquita, the big banana producing companies, say everybody have to compete on the same level. They took us to the international court called the World Trade Organization, and the World Trade Organization said you have to compete on the same levels. Bananas became expensive on the European market. We couldn't earn the same amount of money we were earning here. Banana farmers left their fields in droves and they went to drive bus for tourists. Cruise ships just coming. Remember that, eh? Why do I say that? And so because of that, the Prime Minister of the day, Mary Regina Charles, used her brilliance, because we know whatever we want to say about Mamo, she was a bright woman. And she came up with an idea to be able to build the things that we need, like hotels in Dominica, by this clever idea of allowing businessmen, people of high net worth, multimillionaires with money, investors, to be able to come and invest in a hotel development in Dominica. And as a result of that, you were entitled to become a citizen. But we know we have Haitian and Spanish coming here every day, and they just married somebody tomorrow morning, they're entitled to citizenship. So why do we want to deprive, or why shouldn't a man who is willing to invest millions into our economy, to create jobs, to lift up our standard of living, why shouldn't that person be entitled to become a citizen? So Eugenia Charles started off the economic citizenship program with the Layu River Hotel project. That is how it started with Greystone. This same United Workers' Party was just formed at the time. And in 1988, the 1990 elections was coming. They went down to Layu and they were saying, Ching Chong, go home. They sabotaged the program. That is why the hotel never finished, brothers and sisters. Edison James again, as leader of the opposition, you know, after the Grenada Revolution, when Mamo was very instrumental in helping to free Grenada, because some crazy fellas down there had assassinated the prime minister and his whole cabinet. The army had turned against the government and shoot everybody. The country was in chaos. And we have to say those things because those young children of today, they don't know that. Those teenagers of today, they don't know their history. So anyway, Mamo helped to free Grenada. And Mamo became friends with Ronald Reagan and then George Bush. And because of Mamo's strong personality and leadership in the OECS, the Iron Woman, the President of America, decided to come and help Mamo build an international airport. The same international airport you hear Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit going to build today. We could have had that international airport 20 years ago. Edison James wrote to the United States government and told them that the 1990 election was coming, and if they come here to build international airport, it would give Freedom Party an undue influence. We would say Freedom Party build international airport, and that would be an unfair thing for the election. And the Americans changed their minds. They never came to build the airport. Jigsaw today, we still struggling to build international airport. It's good thing the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, have found a way for us to get that international airport 20 years later. These are the things that these men did even before they were in power. And what did they say? They say when they came to power and they realized that they were in the kitchen now and they were feeling the heat, they said they're changing the program. They didn't say they'll scrap it, or they will stop it. They change it and they call it the re-engineered citizenship program. They modify it. And to make matters worse, under the Freedom Party, every investor had to come to Dominica and sit down in front of the table with a panel. They had to ask the investor several questions about himself, about his background, his bank account, to make sure everything is all right. When the United Workers' Party came to power, they said, forget about that. You don't want to come to Dominica anymore. We will come and meet you wherever you are. In fact, we'll send somebody to interview you and you'll be entitled to a passport. They had persons who fell through the system too. They had crooks and criminals that ended up being Dominican citizens. So when they're telling you, they're making you believe is now the Labour Party have people of disrepute coming. They had persons, they had an Australian fugitive called Christopher Skays, who was running from the law. But they wouldn't tell you that. They want you to believe what they want you to believe. And it is this government under Roosevelt Skerrit that made the program tight, that made the program foolproof. Under the program, there is a due diligence process that must be done for every potential applicant. So whenever you decide that you want to become an investor in any one of those projects, because the Citizenship by Investment project and program is what is funding a lot of the investment you see happening in your constituency today. The new Jungle Bay that is being established now in Monokuma, right here 5 minutes away, is being made possible because of the Citizenship by Investment Program. And the Minister of Tourism told you about the others like Bois Outlet and all of the other projects, the Petit Coulibaly and all of the other projects that are being done. They are being funded in part by the Citizenship by Investment Program, brothers and sisters. So when the leader of the opposition, Lennox Linton, I mean, you know, there must be a point at which you do not go. In life, we are in our family, you in a marriage, you have friends, teeth and tongue does bite one another in our mouth. So you will get problems. But does that mean because you have a problem in the country, you have to go outside of the country and denigrate the country like that? Imagine your father leave a house for you and your brothers and sisters. And he leave the upstairs for you, leave downstairs for your brother. He leave a piece of land for your sister. And you so vexed about what your brother leave for you, for what your father leave. You burning down the house. So when you mash up the same dumb nigger you want to be prime minister of, what you will meet tomorrow morning? You go into America and you saying on CBS have a viewership of millions around the world looking at CBS. You saying the prime minister selling passport, you have a mail order program. You have a mail order program. A mail order program when you go on internet and you order shoes in America on your credit card, on your NBD credit card, and then they come in custom and you go and pick it up. That is not the way that the Citizenship by Investment Program is being run, brothers and sisters. That program is a tight program. And it is this government that put another component to the program. Another component that if the investor so chooses, if the investor does not want to invest in one of the hotel projects, he can invest in something called an economic diversification fund. He can put 100,000 US into that account. Now, the last time I checked, the National Employment Program had 1,800 plus persons around Dominica employed. In 1 year, at the end of the fiscal year, we would be spending in the region of $11 million paying salaries to national employment interns around Dominica. And you can see the difference in your constituency. You can see the beautification. One of the first programs we ran was a hospitality sector program right here in this constituency for youths from Point Michel, Soufriere, and Scott says as cooks, bartenders, chef, waitresses, that people before that had no skill. They were what we call unemployable. They couldn't get a job because when they were younger, like all of us, like young people, we were truant, we rude, we careless, we coward, we carefree, we don't want to go to school. But no fault of theirs, or some of them maybe get pregnant, they drop out along the way. And it is programs like these, the Enterprise Development Program, that training them so that when those business places are ready, when the Bois Outlets and the Jungle Bays are ready here in the constituency, these young persons can put their nice dandan on them, put their nice waitress skirt on them and think, iron their clothes, press it with starch, and go to work in pride and dignity because the government have trained them under the Citizenship by Investment Program fund. That is what the money is doing for you. Now you want to tell me the opposition against, brothers and sisters, we have people here in this constituency who work all their life to support those communities. People that drive truck when the road was bad. When C. Ruff Scott said, cut out from Soufriere, you can't pass. Children have to go to school. People that had bakery, bake bread. People that had their little shop, give quedi and people don't even pay back. Today, these hard-working people, some of them stay home as housewives while their husbands go and work to cut road with pickaxe, cutting macadam back in those days. Didn't have backhoe and excavator and caterpillar cutting road. They work hard. People who work in the lime industry on the estates, you know that, squeezing lime for Melrose and Company and all those other dumb canned fruit right here in this constituency. Today, these people are 70 and over, and the government, through the kind heart of the Prime Minister, come up with a scheme to give those people like a 300, what is 300 EC a month, for them to pay their little water, put their little mapping so they can watch a little news, they can watch a little Christian program on EWTN in comfort. And the opposition is against that. The opposition calling people greedy for $300 on the Yes Week here. I mean, brothers and sisters, that do our politics in that, you know. That do our politics in that is reality we talking here tonight, you know. I'm not even talking politics, you know. It is our Christian duty to take care of the less fortunate among us. The Bible tell you that. The Bible tell you God loveth a cheerful giver. The least that you do to my brothers and sisters, that you do unto me. We just come out in Lent, brothers and sisters. And that is what the government is trying to do. We're trying to use the wealth of the country to share with everybody. So when you go to America and you mash up the program, you're not thinking about the 70 and over. You're not thinking about the people that can go to the hospital right now and get their free medical care. You're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about the children that have to go to school. Just last week or 2 weeks ago there, the government and the Prime Minister come up with a next idea again. The National Health Insurance Scheme. And we starting it small. We experimenting so that we make sure we get it right, so we can expand it to everybody. So if you 35 and younger, is it a single mother, I believe 35 years and younger, and you have children 3 years and younger, the government is coming in to help you with your bills, your maternity bills. Some mothers are so sick in pregnancy. From the first trimester they're sick. They're throwing up, they vomit in morning sickness. They have to go by doctor. They have to buy tablets. And don't even talk if you have a boyfriend or a man that's not supporting you. Don't even talk about that. The government has a moral responsibility to take care of its people. And that is what we are doing, brothers and sisters. That is what the citizenship by investment program is all about. And we are ensuring that we invest some of that money so that we will have that money forever and ever. Because we know what people like Lennox Linton do there in America there on the 1st of January 2017 could cause the program to end tomorrow morning. We understand that. These guys have jeopardized the program. And we have to spend millions now. The Prime Minister have to go back and try to wipe out the damage that has been caused by these guys. And it is a habit of theirs. It's a habit of theirs. When United Workers' Party left office in 2000, they were owing every single person. The treasury of Dominica was empty, brothers and sisters. Completely empty. Social Security, they were owing Social Security millions of dollars of public servants' contribution. You know, when you work, your employer is supposed to pay his portion, and you, the employee, supposed to pay your portion to Social Security. So when you fall down, when you have a little accident, you can stay home and they'll pay you a little money till you get back on your feet. Your wife pregnant, she can get a little something. You retire, you get a little something on Social Security. United Workers' Party did not pay not 1 cent to Social Security. The government had to pay millions of dollars back to Social Security. Today, Social Security is in such a healthy state that we can give them the National Health Program to administer on behalf of the government of Dominica. You know, these are some of the things we do. There is a neighboring country, I don't want to call countries' name because it's not diplomatically correct, but they had to borrow United Workers' Party money in 1999 to pay public servants. But you remember that, not to sick. You remember month used to end on the 15th of the other month, and they used to tell us the computer breakdown. So how comes now under Roosevelt Scary computer doesn't break down? So it's a new computer then? Is that a new computer? How come computer doesn't break down? Now these are the issues that we have to examine. These are the things that we have to think about. Because we are dealing with our future, brothers and sisters. We are dealing with our future. We are dealing with the future of our children. You have the record of a government that has been consistently performing for you. When we came to office in 2000, there is a measurement to measure how well a country is doing. It is called your debt to something called your GDP, but it's like your production. It's like you're at your home. Your production is your salary, your GDP. How much money you draw in. And your debt is how much money you owe. So let's say you're working for $2,000. Your monthly bills cannot add up to $3,000. Because you will be working in deficit. You'll never be able to make it. So a country must always be below 100%. Below $1. Because if a country generates $1, you want to ensure that your debt is not higher than that dollar. In 1999, when United Workers' Party was in power, our debt to GDP ratio was $1.50. So for every dollar the country was generating, we had to find out 50 cents more every month. $1.50, 150%. Today we have dropped that same debt to GDP ratio under 70%, brothers and sisters. So for every 70 cents we spend, that is why for every 70 cents we spend paying back our bills and paying our loans and paying our debts, we have 30 cents to spend on you, to put chalk in our schools, to give our children free school books, to pay for college for them, to put medicine in the hospital, to fix our roads. Look, we just announced another $15 million going to be spent on community roads. Here, Dennis, look at our share to spend here, brothers and sisters. That is what the government is supposed to do for you. That is what we have been doing for you. I am in charge. One of the departments in my ministry is responsible for exports because I'm the Minister of Trade. And we just opened 2 facilities, one in Portsmouth, one in Roseau, called the multi-purpose pack houses. And in the last 8 months, we have sold close to $1 million in fresh produce to those foreign countries. Right now, we want farmers to go back into their field like crazy because the demand we get in for yam, for dashing, for kush, hot peppers, coconuts, plantains, brothers and sisters. And the government, look, I don't know if it's Dennis who told you, that the government have $10 million right now at the aid bank at some ridiculous interest rate, 3% interest rate. There's nowhere else in the region you can go for money at 3% interest rate. Interest rate is 6% and 9% and 12% banks just give. Look, the Minister of Tourism, because here you are a tourism community, you will have the opportunity to provide all of the services that those tourism facilities need, from water sports to restaurant to craft to souvenir, you name them. You can walk into the aid bank now. There is $15 million sit down there waiting for persons to upgrade their restaurants to invest. The small business unit, brothers and sisters, when United Workers' Party was in power, I'll give you a story, and they sue me for that. Edison sued me for that, so I have to be very careful on that. We were with Taiwan at the time. You remember before China is Honorable Roosevelt, Prime Minister, who caused us to shift from Taiwan to China, because Taiwan is pineapples they was planting and China is serious business we're doing, hospital and stadium and college and things, so we had to switch. Wait, no. Taiwan gave the government of the day some money to put in the aid bank called the Venture Capital Fund. And the Venture Capital Fund, same thing like small business. Not one little businessman around Dominica could go and get money just like you can get from the small business unit now. All their friends and their colleagues, some of them had businesses that were bankrupt. Bankrupt businesses. Businesses that had Kool-Aid already. And they were approving loans for those persons. Ministers of government was applying for that same money at the aid bank. But tell a minister under Roosevelt, try that today now. And you really crucify us. Ministers of government. Minister of government was getting contracts, government contracts personally in their own name. Minister of government was applying to the aid bank to get that same money based on government projects, brothers and sisters. That is what was happening under these guys. Today we have a country that is the shining example of prudent fiscal management in the Eastern Caribbean. I don't like to call country name because they say le bab kamawa duka puedife who say so. I'd like to call country's name. But Barbados had to send them 4,000 public servants there last couple months ago there. The great Barbados. There is not one, and I challenge any one of them, there is not one OECS country in the last 5 years that have started and completed any hotel. And in Dominica you have about what, 4 of them ongoing right now. You have the Kapinski Hotel in Bell Hall in Portsmouth. You have the Moroccan Hotel, which is being completed. You have the Silver Beach Hotel where Coconut Beach used to be. You have another one in Salisbury going to start just now, the Hilton by Curio. You have the Jungle Bay going on, brothers and sisters. That is serious investment that will create opportunities, that will create jobs, that will create backward and forward linkages. In other words, backward and forward linkages mean the services that the hotel will need. Fishermen can go there and sell their fish. Vegetables can be sold there. Fresh fruits can be sold there. Taxi drivers can make money there. You name it. And you know, in a lot of ways, this constituency reminds me a lot of my own constituency in Portsmouth. This constituency have tremendous resources. Your marine resources are tremendous. And I can tell you what we did, and the minister told you, what we did in the Portsmouth Association of Yacht Service and Security. I can send the guys up here to do that for you. Just tell the minister to give us the contract. We'll put in the moorings for you. We'll put in the moorings, and we will come and show you how every night the guys go out there, and I give them a boat. I give them a guy under NEP as a security. And every night they out there making sure that the yachts are safe and anchor. They even start a new thing now called a Sunday barbecue, where they themselves have a nice house I built for them and I shared with seats. Until they come, they put their tablecloth, they barbecue their chicken, they make coleslaw and salad, they make potato salad and rum punch and thing. And every Sunday night they have the yachties coming on shore by the hundreds. Look, the minister tell you about the yachty appreciation week that they had. About 300 people. We can do the same thing for you here because we have the funds to do it under the Citizenship by Investment program. Have the money to do it. I mean, I remember, because I was here, I remember quite clearly when my good friend Ian Pinard used to be telling you the seawall is coming. I remember that. This morning I drove to Scottshead and I went to drop my daughter up to Scottshead by her granny. And I am driving on that seawall. And I am saying, boy, let me tell you something. We forgetting, what this Labour Party have done for this country, the Labour Party has changed the face of Dominica, For you to get a prime minister who has done so much for the country, you have to go back to Mamo or Libra, brothers and sisters. In the 70s, before we were independent, That is where we have to go. And that is why we have to understand the technique of the opposition. We have to understand them. They themselves do not even believe their propaganda. They do not believe their propaganda. You remember after Tropical Storm Erica, when the leader of the opposition, the Prime Minister, in his goodness again, the Prime Minister called for a government of national unity. The Prime Minister said, let us forget everything. We're in disaster. Let us reconcile. Now is not the time to politic. Let us come together. The Prime Minister bring them upstairs in the cabinet room and we started working together. He said everywhere the Prime Minister fly, he want to fly. He tell the Prime Minister give him his overseas schedule for the next 6 months. He want to come too. So he think he was co-Prime Minister. Since Erica, brothers and sisters, we have managed, because of the Citizenship by Investment program, to recreate Dubik. Dubik has been recreated, that village. And they are now at center in Grand Bay. People that didn't have house before. Mother, grandmother, and daughter who was pregnant with child was living in the same house, one bedroom house. Today, each of them have a house of their own in center. Go up to Bellevue Chope, and the houses for Petit Savan is they are well on their way, thanks to the citizenship by investment program again. Which government could do that? But most of you all in here were born after Hurricane David. So I not come in and spread no propaganda for you. It's not lying to you. You saw how long it took for us to recover from Hurricane David. And people tell you that Tropical Storm Erica caused as much damage as Hurricane David. Wipe out our gross domestic product. Wipe out 90% of it. $1.2 billion in damage. And today, villages are well settled and others are on their way to being settled, brothers and sisters. That's 1 year salary gone there, right there. You understand what I'm saying? 1 year of salary gone because of Erica, Tropical Storm Erica. And because of the nature of our leadership, we were able to settle those villages and put the country back on track, brothers and sisters. No, these are the facts, you know. These are the facts. That's not politicking. When rally time come and public meeting time come, we will talk about politics right now. What I'm telling you there is just pure reality, you know. I just came here to support my colleague Danny. Look at education. Every single child today who want to go to a secondary school have a place waiting for them at any secondary school in Dominica. Look, the minister there. I come into college, minister. Hurry. Up I come in, minister. I come in. Universal secondary education. Okay, and those who are a little slow, we still have a remedial program for them when they get to secondary school. The minister remind me of college. Brothers and sisters, I went to Clifton Dupini Community College. I went there when the Prime Minister was there. As a student too, he was 1 year younger than me. At what was called Clifton Dupini Community Sixth Form College behind grammar school. Sifokol, that's what it was called. And if Sifokol had 90 students at the time, we probably didn't have more. In fact, there were about 3 or 4 of us from the Portsmouth Secondary School, I remember very clearly at the time. And it's not that children were not doing well at CXC, but there was no space for students. So if your child did well at CXC, the teacher in all their goodness, even if they wanted to take your child, did not have the space to put them. Brothers and sisters, today in the Dominica we live in, every single child that wants to go to Stock Farm, to go to the Dominica State College can walk in. And some of them, if they cannot afford it, then is there with the Minister of Education to help to send them to school. And when they finish state college, every single one of them who want to go and study anywhere in the world, the government is there to help them. We have students in China, we have students in Morocco, we have students in Venezuela, we have students in the United States of America, you have students in England, you have students in Cuba, you have students in UAE. Anywhere they want to go to study at the university, we there to help them. And those who don't want to go overseas to study, they're doing their thing online here, and the government is still supporting them to do that, brothers and sisters. The country is on track. We promised you that we will give you a university graduate in every home by 2020, and we are well on the way to accomplishing that milestone. That is the kind of work that the government is every single sector, brothers and sisters. Every single sector. So that is why I want you to understand that you have the quality of representation on the ground in Honorable Charles. I mean, I don't need to tell you anymore about her. You know your pal rep. And you know she's with you. She's just like the former pal rep. They believe in their people. They fight for their people. They represent them in every forum that I have been in with Dennis, she uses the opportunity to represent on behalf of her people. I can tell you that. And if it were not so, I didn't even have to say it. So I'm telling you that is so. And the leadership that we have is keeping us on track, keeping us on our toes, keeping us disciplined. We have to report doing tonight. No election. What we are doing for you. That in already know that you, or if not you, you know family members or other persons who have been in emergency situations, and had it not been for the Prime Minister and the public support program, people would have lost their lives. People you have to send away, you have to call them up to fly them to Matnik and medical attention. And the opposition is criticizing the public support program and calling the Red Clinic. But it's your money, brothers and sisters. It's your government you put there to work for you. And that is what we are doing. And when the hospital is finished, we wouldn't even have to go overseas so very often. Because we will have the standard of medical care acceptable anywhere in the world, right here in Dominica at the Princess Margaret Hospital. All of the top pieces of medical equipment, MRI, CT scan, CAT scan, you name it, will be endoscopy, you name it, the mammogram, all of them will be right here. And it is our hope that we will be able, if you keep us in power, and we keep getting better and the economy keep getting better, eventually it is our hope to provide free medical care to all the citizens of Dominica, because we believe that that is what you deserve. So that is what we are heading to. Just like because that is why we have the medical insurance in place. Because we hope that eventually we will be able to extend the medical insurance facility to all our citizens in Dominica. We will even be able to promote Dominica as a healthcare destination for tourists. So you come here, you have your top state-of-the-art medical procedure. You can even do, how you call it, when people straighten their nose and they tighten their cheeks and they straighten up and they put their hips. How you calling that again? Cosmetic surgery. You come here, you do your cosmetic surgery, and then you come in a place like Jungle Bay or in Bois-Côtelet to recuperate. And you walk down every day, you come and bathe in the hot spa and you soak, and you can live like a millionaire even if you are proper in Dominica. That is what we want to do for you. You eat your fresh fruits and your vegetables produced right here in Dominica. That is the vision we have for our people. We can be the best country in the Caribbean, brothers and sisters. We can be one of the best countries in the region, brothers and sisters. Don't believe because we're small that people must take us for granted. All these jokers on CBS and Rejock and all these people that UWP have talking nonsense on QFM. But anytime a man name is Rejock, you don't see what you understand it. A man name is, somebody come tell you, they tell you I'm Mr. Rejock. Upa voice so nom fukila then. Upa voice then. So shushu killer. But these people understand that we are being successful at what we do. And you're so hungry for power. You want to mash up the country to be prime minister. You want to mash up the little Dominica. We go through so much struggle already. Hurricane David come, we had problem. May 29th and Patrick John, we had problem. So much problem we had in Dominica. Hurricane after hurricane. Lenny come. It was Lenny that passed. And a man was coming from Scotia to Soufriere, and a wave take him. They didn't even get his body up to now. Not little problem that little country Dominica pass. Now we seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel. Now we breaking out. Now we can hold our heads high and our shoulders up and walk through any Caribbean country and proud to say that you are from the Commonwealth of Dominica. You want to jeopardize that just because you want to be in power? Well, the power is in your hands, not in our hands. We are your servants, brothers and sisters. We work for you. It is you who will decide who run in the company when the time comes. Understand that the power belongs to you. And that is why we are here tonight, to respect you, to humble ourselves. If we have to take our blows for being negligent, we'll take our blows. If there are any suggestions that you want to make as to how we can bring about more development for you, let us know. We know sometimes we fall short. We know it's not everybody we can help at the same time to the same extent. Because the needs are endless and the resources are few. I mean, when you tell me an 80-something-year-old lady in her house, rain falling, thunder rolling, lightning scattering, and the lady have a malpisa or malcaca, and they have to go outside in a latrine to use the toilet, in walking a track with a bullseye somewhere, open a old wooden door, have a bullseye to see lights before you fall in the pit. Ants biting you, penis biting you, and the government come and provide a washroom on your house so that you can live out your days in pride and dignity. Is there any Dominican who is not deserving of that, my brothers and sisters? Dimwe, tell me, Magwesa, and somebody can come and criticize that. I mean, you have to say that these people either don't believe in the word of God or they're not Christian. I don't know what it is, but I don't understand how somebody can criticize that. But that will not deter us, because imagine, even long after, 2 years after we announced our washroom program, the United Nations themselves come and say they have a washroom eradication program, and India and those big countries adopt that after we started our program. Your pal rep tell you in Jamaica just a couple of weeks ago, Jamaica announced that they're eradicating washrooms. They in schools, in primary schools, they don't even start to reach out people home yet. And Dominica, because of our brilliance, we are well on our way to eradicating pit latrines in Dominica. That is you see, because that is what we started. That was the work of our great founder, Edward Oliver Libla. And those of you all who are old enough in here, remember Edward Oliver Libla. It's Mr. Libla that had to cut road all over Dominica and bring communications and build Deepwater Harbor and build the ministry building and things. Mr. Libla. Mr. Libla was the founder of the nation. It's Mr. Libla that caused ordinary grassroots people to be able to get job in the public service and in the banks and in those, before it's based on what your surname was, you used to get work. And now in Dominica, our motto in the Dominica Labour Party is all shall eat. All shall eat. And we're not looking at color. When we have to fix your house, when Dennis have to give you 2 galvanized over here, we're not looking at color. When I have to recommend, when she give me people to put on NEP, I'm not asking her if they support her. I ask her if that person is unemployed. And we create employment for you. We're not watching color. The Prime Minister don't have a television in his office and paying public servants like other Prime Ministers did when they were there. That is not our style, brothers and sisters. We're too small for that. It's 60,000 of us alone that here, 70,000 of us alone that here. So when you try to destroy the country, if I try to destroy a person that's not supporting Labour, but they have a cousin or they have an auntie somewhere that might be supporting Dominica Labour Party. So when you feel you're touching one person, the person have about 10 other family members that you don't understand and don't know about that you're hurting. So we cannot go after people. That's not our style. We don't believe in victimization. But you know what the record was. When you was not supporting United Workers Party, and then fella, you cannot work, you cannot eat. You know how much people like that guy that used to be in TBMC, don't call him? Right. They burn down a house to kill a cat. You understand me? But we don't believe in that. And that's, well, thank you very much. They're not there, not in power, but they're still trying to undermine the very lifeblood of the country. I think that they started. I think that they said they would wipe out economic citizenship program. They continued it. And because we have made it better and we have made it stronger and we are more successful at it. They went to the House of Assembly in the budget of 2014-2015. And because at that time we had raised about maybe $30 million or so on how much? 37 or thereabouts $million under the Citizens by Investment. But that will laugh at us. These only fellas are jokers. All don't know what all doing. We can do better than that. The next year we come back, $193 or so million from the same program, because the Prime Minister himself took personal responsibility and he went outside of the country doing 14 cities in 12 days promoting Dominica, and that is why the program right now is the most successful citizenship program in the region. St. Kitts and Antigua are jealous of the kind of revenues that we're making now. They're asking us how we doing it. St. Lucia just started a program there. Grenada just started a program. America have their program for the longest while. If you invest $500,000 in America in a program called EB5, you are entitled to become a citizen. Canada have a program. England have a program. Malta have a program. Australia have a program. Brothers and sisters, the same citizenship program. So we must always be last kakarot in the region. We must always be last kakarot in the world. Well, we have a government that is first and foremost. We have a government that prime ministers who are twice and 3 times our prime minister's age, calling him now for advice as to how to run their country. That is the kind of man we have in power. So I just want to tell you thank you very much. I'm preaching to the converted tonight because, I see the faces of the people I know. But it is heartening, When we come and we dialogue with you and we talk to you, we learn, because we don't have all the answers. And it is humbling for us to come and to get your experiences, because it is based on your experiences, based on your daily lives, that we get to craft those programs that we have to benefit you. So for me personally, these meetings are very important. It gives me an opportunity to touch base with you all. To one, express our gratitude for your support over the years, but two, to encourage you to hold faith with us. Hold faith. Look, on the 1st of May, which is May Day, we will be inaugurating another great program in the middle of Roseau. And I tell you, we don't look at colors, We're not looking at colors, because that $18 million investment happening in the middle of Roseau is a bridge from one constituency to the next. And the last time I checked, they were not held by politicians or pal reps on the government side. But we do not watch that, because a rising tide floats all boats. When Dominica do well, everybody in Dominica do well. Regardless of who do the investment, who come. I'll tell you one secret, because a long time in politics. In the 1980s, my father of blessed memory was the leader of the Dominica Labour Party, Mike Douglas. And he was the parliamentary representative and the leader of the opposition in Portsmouth at the time. Freedom Party was in power, and Freedom Party came to Portsmouth to inaugurate, or to open, just like we're going to open the new bridge on the 1st, to inaugurate the cruise ship berth at Cabritz. And everybody tell him, Mike, don't put yourself in those people's business, don't go there. You're not a Freedomite, we're not Freedomite, we're against Freedom Party, don't go in there. And my father said that development for one is development for all. And long after he is gone, that development will be there for years to come, for generations. Today, Honorable Robert Tong tell you that we had 300 people having a dinner at the same Cabritz there 2 months ago. I was the Minister of Tourism. His son became the Minister of Tourism 30 years later in Dominica. So it is not good to watch colors. We don't watch colors. All of us are Dominicans. And when any development comes to Dominica, it is for all of us. So we cannot go about, because we're on the opposition side, trying to mash up the country and blacken the name of the country. Because when the country goes down, all of us will go down with it. So I am happy that we are here to make you understand, especially controversial issues like the Citizenship by Investment program. Understand what it is, understand how it operates, how it works. And even if some by chance somebody end up coming into the program and it is later found out that that person is not a desirable person, the government have the power to revoke the citizenship. We have that power to do that, brothers and sisters, even after the due diligence. So we have put systems in place to ensure that the program continues to be as successful as it can be, but ensuring that all the safeguards are in place. And they're telling you about our diplomatic appointments. But again, if you don't understand brilliance and you're stupid, make somebody explain to you what it is. That is what I don't understand about the opposition. You know. If it's foolish, they're foolish. Make somebody explain to you. So Dominica, as a small developing country, we don't have all of the resources to go about appointing honorary consuls and diplomats all over the world. But we want the representation from all over the world. So persons who are willing to foot the bill to set up the offices, to have the Dominica flag flying, to have their car driving as a diplomat, to be able to advocate on behalf of Dominica in those places, basically free of charge to the treasury, we make them our citizens as a result. We award them with a diplomatic passport as a result. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? And we, as a result, Dominica's name becomes known all over the world, especially in the important economic centers around the world where we need representation at no cost to the taxpayers of Dominica. That is what brilliant leadership is all about. That is what it's all about. And as a result, we continue to generate revenue to be able to change your lives. So brothers and sisters, I'm happy that we are here tonight explaining the issues to you. We have deliberated. In turn, we want to hear from you on how we can continue to work for you, how we can continue to put brilliant, innovative ideas and schemes in place to ensure that we continue to raise your standard of living. Thank you very much.
We got to walk down history lane. So let's thank Honorable Douglas. It's very important, as he said, for us to know our history. Because you need to remember what happened to you in the past. That is why the people of the Soufriere constituency have remained smart. And you continue to be wise and support the Dominica party. So now, my people, you have heard from us. This meeting is for you. I have been your parent for 11 months, so feel free to tell me ways you want me to improve, what you want to see in the constituency, any concerns, any issues you have. Now is your time to speak freely. We are all family in Soufriere. That is one thing I love Soufriere constituency for. We are like a big family. So we can talk. I just ask that we be respectable and listen to everybody question, and then we'll give you the response the best way we can, okay? So you are free to come up to the mic and just ask your question. Oh yes, 5 questions at a time, and then we'll answer. Come up. If you think your voice is low, but it's better.
I don't really have a question, but I just want to say thanks to the Dominica Labour Party. My mother told me when she used to work on the estate, for council, she used to get paid for 4 days, and the Friday was for the village. So today she's getting $300 from the government. I just want to say thank you to them. She has worked for it.
It's in reference to you speaking about the Maureen and Lama doing some work. One of the things I want to ask is a jetty in the works for Soufriere? Not only do we need one in the event of a disaster, but with the proposed buildings going on, the hotels, with what I think we can do within the community to build it up, tourism-wise, with the mooring of the boats, we want to know if a jetty is in the making. And you spoke about about Dominica, and so did Mr. Douglas, and so did our PAL rep. And maybe many of you saw, but Dominica was one of the categories that was on jeopardy last week. Okay. So I want to know.
The very same thing I had to say, that's what I'm speaking about, because the community needs a jetty in any event, natural or unnatural. If we have to move up from the community to any part of the island, we need something to give us what is called the steering or the way of means to make us move out of the community to go out to any other part of the island, because we know we are, if the road that we have up there, it is not 100%. We are only doing the best that we can with it. But in the event of anything natural or unnatural, we need something out there to give to us assurance that we can really complete out from the community. So she really took what I had to say from my mouth and she said it. And that is very good. So I think
Hello. Listen. I'm very proud for Denise Charles. And she's a lady, she's well faithful for everybody. Okay? What she Labour Party doing for everybody in Dominica? Workers' Party never done for me. Okay? And Dennis Charles support me, and I support Dennis Charles. Amen. And give Dennis Charles a big support for me, please. Okay? I say hello.
Good night, everybody. Good night. I heard Mr. Douglas talk about history. And Mr. Douglas's father, Michael Douglas, told me, Lela pitika tobe, pas jamais pas avec l'eau. C'est pas les civils qui tape. Your father told me that, right? When rain falling, you didn't collect water. It's when dew falling, you get. Anyway, I think that we here are very supportive of the Labour Party. And I think they are doing very good for us. But there's a concern I have to Ms. Charles. And that is because of where I live. Where I live is in Scottsdale. And I live just opposite some cubicles that were built for the fishermen. But while I was here, I built the road. I built the road right here. And I made the road up to a level. When I came back, I met that house being built. But it seems to be built lower than the road itself, than the lowest part of the road. And there's no way for the water to flow, but in the cubicles. But whoever built those cubicles must have built it after 1995. But in 1995, I went to St. Thomas, and when I came back, I met them there. But these cubicles haven't got any toilets, Miss Charles. So those that eat there must. Thank you. So therefore, I'd ask Miss Charles, please, because I talked to Aisha Moran today, and I told him my concerns. Because when we get sick up there, we want to come to this gentleman for no kind of health business, because we want to be free and steady, you know. It's true we have partners. You see, a partner tried to walk like me a while ago. Vary. That's Vary we have. So, so anyway, Ms. Charles, I hope you get that, right? Anyway, I hope that we enjoy ourselves tonight. And while I was making the road, there's a friend of mine I nearly killed on the road. I was grading the road with Papa Bellot. Anybody remember Papa Bellot? After I fixed up the road nicely, I sent some stones down in a hole. I nearly killed a man down in the hole. So while I went to take a rest of, the man came up with a cutlass, looking for somebody to kill. And all of us were relaxed at the time. And if he knew it was I won't be here tonight. And that man is right with us today. Would you stand up, please, mister?
Good night, everyone. One of my questions is Senator Dennis mentioned that they were going to have a small business training for the people. So my question was, how soon would that be? How soon it would be? And Lenny, the process. I heard the Honorable Minister of Tourism mentioning some points in tourism, and as I took my notes, you spoke about the awareness and the access, but you left us there. I think you had 4 points. I didn't get the other points, so I still would have liked to, even though you don't expound on it, but I would like to know so that I can teach other people, that in tourism there's awareness and there's access and there's whatever the other points are. Okay, I hope I'm not asking too much. And you also give us some abbreviations for want of words. There was FCCU. I have a big question mark by it. I would really like to know what it is. And there was SMMR. So, if you could just let us know what these things are.
Any other questions?
Everybody know me. I want to say thank you for the pilot flooding Prime Minister post. But he put it too late. But at the same time, I thank him for putting it. Because 2012, I was in I don't know how to say it. I was getting crazy. Because my son fell sick. And I did not have no vehicle to left, right, middle, center. I was just thinking. He spent 2 months and 3 weeks and 7 days at the hospital getting swelled. And all the time I have to take him to Barbados. But I need $20,000. I did not go on one tree to go and pick it up. To pick up, I don't know. And then I keep on going down south, east, and west. I get some help, but it don't take me nowhere. It just keeps me in Dominica. When I come see my son, the doctor tell me, you are Sergeant Money? I said, yes. She said, come, I want to talk to you. She tell me, your son is dying. I said, no. She tell me, as a doctor, I have to prepare you. I answer her, yes. She tell me, I said, no. She tell me, yes. You take it for joke. I said, when sickness from the very first time, I never take it for joke. She tell me, he's dying. I said, no. The reason I tell you to for you to prepare yourself, I answer yes. Every time she said, he's dying, I said no. And then she said, well, I tell you how it is, so you have to prepare. Then I sit down. When I sit down, I have no tooth. I have 2 crooked legs, but I don't know where I got that time. I don't have no hand. And all I could say, I could just sit down, and I say, my God will do it for me. Then when I go to Miss is right now. He has to hear it. I say, oh my God. The only thing I listen to is news. I know what is here. It's $20,000. I go back and ask again on which tree I'm going to pick it up. Then I keep on going back and forth, back and forth. Bobby don't say they're ready, but I have to come up with $20,000. I don't know where to turn. I'm crazy, but all I trust God. That was my strength. Then, when I see my son dying at the hospital, I say, oh my God, what I'm going to do? I take a $10,000 loan, but before I reach God, the money finished, because at that time the euro was $300. When I see the child get so white, I never eat a white meat, but and swell, and everybody has given me. Then when I come and see your son, he's my reflection. I said, look, my son, why you come white so? I don't know. Before I jump at the hospital, he have to tell me, Mommy, the doctor say you have to give me $200. Mommy, the doctor say $150 because that's why they come in and do the test for you. We just go in quick. I tell him, do that for me. Discharge yourself. He said, to go where? I said, going to partner with you. He said, what the money? I said, God will provide. 10 o'clock Sunday, they don't want to discharge my child. It's 21 days. I tell him, let me tell you something. This a man, back up, we going home. He said, we go where? I already go with church, I already go all over. I pick up my child, I get thinking. I said, we're going to Guado. He's white like a tablecloth, but all I know, I trust God. I take my child, when he pack up, they ask me where he going. He said, following Mommy. What Mommy said? I'm going. Then they call the doctor, he left and then they by crying by his name. Then I take my son, and I bring my son to Guado. From the boat to emergency. While we're inside now, they start to give him some blood, and I say, son to Jesus. Because he was wild. And all I could do is cry, but I know I trust the Lord. Because you watching your 21-year-old son die, and you cannot do nothing. I take him to God. They keep him 3 days from it. In the 3 days now, they call me telling me he has to go out. Because he just come in, they can't kill him. I tell you how, we go, my big cousin, on the way. And I watch him. We have to go because we have to go out. When I see my son go up and fall sick, we call the ambulance. I say, I don't want to leave him. We go back at the hospital. I know a little French. I hear them, while he's entering the hospital, I hear the man call and say, there is a sick boy, he's very, very sick. So we cannot keep him back. They have to bring him inside. They answer, bring him in. They take him inside and they're watching him. Then we leave the hospital 2 o'clock in the morning. Coming to a close. Why? I there now, I come and see him the next day. When I come and see him the next day, that is how I meet him. I watch him, I tell him, if I could give you all the blood inside of me, I give it to you. He's so cold. He has sweater, he has pants, he has socks, he has sweatsuit, but the child cold. I tell him as a mother, if I could lie down and warm you up, I do it. If I could give you my place, and I take your place, I do it. I'm watching my child die. I sit down, and then I say, Father Lord, where are you? You said you will not leave me, you will not forsake me, I am alone. I just feel somebody put me up to stand up. Then when I go to the social worker, I tell the social worker, I am Sergeant Mommy. The lady tell me, Madam Panilasha. Madam, meal. Madam, we're senior papier. We're some collagen. Everybody watching me in the hospital is a crazy English woman. I say, thank you, Jesus. You will not go to prison. You will not lose your job. You caused that to fight. And then the next day, the lady tell me I could go and come back the next day. They find out where to put my son. And then they take my son. I have to say thank you for the government of Dominica for the pilot project he put. Because if he had put it in 2012, my son would be the but he's there with me, you know, because I give him God constant praise. And then I have to say thank you for the government of Dominica. Because I know he has plenty of us. We in need of it. Who said they don't want to get life? They have too much life.
So you see, it's stories like that and cases like that the Prime Minister was seen on a daily basis in his office. That is why he introduced the pilot program. So you see why we have to support the CBI? Because in 2012, we didn't make all that money, but now we got the funds under the CBI. We are doing the things that are necessary for our people. Now, my friend Mr. Wati asked about washroom facilities for the stalls in Scottsdale. Now, because we have meetings in every village, I would have spoken about that in Scottsdale at my next meeting. But plans are in place to put some washroom facilities there. I've been discussing it with the village council to see how we can allocate a couple of washrooms to serve the vendors that are in that area. Under the small business training, hopefully we'll start the first training will be the first week in May. So I'll give you more information, okay?
Okay, good evening. The first question was regards to will there be a jetty put in place in the area? Actually, I made a mistake. I said SSMR, but I suspect you're a teacher. You just want persons to know. SSMR is a Soufriere Scottsdale Marine Reserve. But I made a mistake. It's actually not the SSMR, it's LAMA. What does LAMA mean again? Local Area Marine Management and Authority. So basically, we've been working with the local, with LAMA. So that, and from the discussions that we've had with LAMA's actually, through some funding agency, they've actually sent out tenders to do the jetty right here, and also the boardwalk. Unfortunately, the budget that they had was way lower than what they had. So we're working together with them to see how we can work together as a team to make this a reality, and also the boardwalk. So the jetty will, as you said, will also help the community in the event of some type of emergency. It'll help the fishermen to come in, but at the same time, when you have the moorings for the yachties, it means the yachties also use that to come in. In Portsmouth, we did a similar thing for the time of Mr. Ian Douglas. There was also a jetty built as part of the plan for the moorings and the jetty, so that when persons come in, they don't have to just put their dinghies on the sand. In Portsmouth it's easier, but here you must have the jetty for them to tie up to. So those are in the plan, and I'm hoping that before the next season we can implement some of these things.
Because we have a jetty on the Elvis, and we used to have lots of yachts. We are thinking that was covered yachts before us, that's not true. We even have airplanes in that community.
Okay.
This used to be built. So there are lots of things that we have in that community that a lot of people don't even know about.
Okay.
So I think that is the reason why we are asking for a reintroduction of putting back the jetty, because it's a very important to the community and to the people. Because in the event that when they ferry sometimes coming for the road, the season sometimes very hard to rock. Soufriere is the most crowded sport in the whole of the world. Even when you have the biggest group everywhere, Soufriere still has crowded size.
Okay, just for clarification, the jetty that will be built would not be a jetty to take the ferry at this point in time. In terms of FCCA, FCCA stands for the Florida Cruise Caribbean Association. The budget that we have is less than $1 million. The jetty I think you may be speaking of is one that will cost a couple of millions of dollars. So I think small steps and we can get there. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
You spoke of the training for the people who will be the young entrepreneurs. It says, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. Next question to that is, who's going to teach him how to prepare the fish. Okay, I'm using the fish. I'm sure many of you have heard that. Are there going to be mentors in place to ensure that these people who have received those funds, the young entrepreneurs rather, who have received the funds, will be able to maintain that business that they have decided that they want to do? Because many times when we do not know how to handle something, we fail even before it gets started. So I would suggest that within your constituents, that you identify your leadership who would be able to work with you and also the Small Business Association to be mentors to those young entrepreneurs to ensure that they are heading in the right direction. More so, rather than come to you, they can go, if Mr. Tung is the mentor, that they can go to Mr. Tung and say, hey, I'm having some difficulty. Where do I go from here? What do I need to do? Also, before the training, I would think that many of those young entrepreneurs need some money management skills, because they may have the money, and I think Mr. Douglas mentioned about being prudent with money. They may have the money and, would rather buy a nice dress or a nice pair of pants than put it into the business. So I think that the group that you would decide who would receive those funds should get some type of training even before the SBA people come in to do the training, that you work with them in terms of money management, simple bookkeeping skills, in order that they know what they are about.
Yes, we know. Thank you. Points well noted. In terms of the small business training, the group from the small business unit, they'll be doing all that financial training, teaching you how to manage your money, how to spend money wisely, not to use the revenue, because a lot of us, when we make a little money, before we pay our expenses, we use the money and the business doesn't make a profit. So that is what the training will entail. But I like your suggestion about mentors in the community that can follow up with those who receive the money to continue to help them if they need further guidance. That is the kind of support we have to give in the community. So I will identify persons, and if you're willing, if you're anyone who is listening is willing to provide that mentorship, please contact me so we can work together and put a plan in place. Okay? Thank you.
Let them use that mic. No, yeah, there's a comment. TV. Put that mic in the center.
Okay, good evening to all. Thanks for being here to talk to us. And my concern is just in relation to the training to the young people, right? You normally come up with a figure from a younger age to age 35, but we have a lot of 40, 45, 50 and 55 before retirement age that is not working. What about considering fitting in them in the training? That's it.
Let me make a correction. If you felt the training was for young people, it's not. It's for small business owners, people who want to start a small business, people who own a small business and want to expand. So everybody's including training. You could be 70 years and you have a business you included.
Okay, well, before I understood, because I was hearing figures, like age figures, like 20, 25 to 35.
No.
Okay?
So at least you're clear now. So you can come to the training. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So I want to thank you. I think we have had a good meeting this evening.
Good night, everybody. If I stumble, don't mind me. I don't like mic. I just DJ and I don't want to talk on mic. But in terms of tourism, another way I think that we can attract tourists is making them feel at home, not only by providing them with hotels, but only amusement parks and stuff like that. Also, I think that with the entry of the gas station and the hotels, I think we should also have like a rental company based in Soufriere. Instead of people have to go right down Roseau for rental, they can have one right here at Soufriere. Right. Thank you.
So those are good observations. But as we said before, opportunity favors the prepared. Okay? So when you see opportunity, the best thing for you to do is to go online, do some research to see how you can start that business, how to run that business. And then you can also apply to the small business to start the business. Many persons may want to start a rental company, 50 cars, but you can start small and build your company to another stage. Okay? So use the opportunity to capitalize on the opportunities that are there.
Okay, any more questions, comments? Okay, I think we had a wonderful meeting tonight. Do you agree? It was very informative. You were very attentive. You got all the information, so you are armed with information so you can answer anybody on the road. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And I love you. Have a blessed night and go home safely. God bless you.